open up a can of whoop ass. That is how you take the can of whoop ass, you take it out of the drawer or your pantry, you open that sumbitch, and you whip some ass. Now, I tweeted this out, and some people disagree with me. The final score won't completely indicate, because you had a couple of field goals in there, won't completely indicate how much of an ass whooping this one was. I got to be honest with you. I thought it was the best game of the year that you had. The best overall game of the year that you had. Wasn't necessarily anything pretty. You didn't do anything necessarily overly pretty. But what did you do? As we talked about on Thursday, you came out and constantly ran the football. You needed to do it. Well, it paid off. Just because you're getting 1 yard on one carry doesn't mean a whole lot. Secondly, you didn't turn the ball over and you forced turnovers. Oh, by the way, you got points when you got turnovers. Oh, by the way, you played keep away. You want to give us yards? We're going to take them all the way down the field and make you stop it, and you whooped that ass. Now, there are things that looked really bad in the first half. As an example, 8 first-half penalties was godly awful. So there were multitudes of chances that you could have gone out there in this beautiful win. I love this game, be honest with you. I loved every single thing about what you did tonight. So many good things that you did, but those penalties got to stop. Every post-game show brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, a lot of games going on today. Tennessee upsets Alabama. Could have been live betting during the game like your boy was. Took Tennessee when it was plus 2.5. Wind up clearing. Nico kind of grew up. Did that all over at betonline.ag. You can check out that promo code BELIEVE50 where the game starts. You'll get 50% off your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Also, this post game is brought to you by our good friends over at The Athletic Collection, shop-tac.com. That's shop/tac.com. Want some official LSU gear, polos, anything that you want, they have it over at The Athletic Collection. Use that promo code AYS15 at checkout. You'll get 15% off of your order. You know what to do. Most of you have been here a lot throughout the years on our post-game shows. You want something red like this one right here. You want something red. Trey says, turn up Boosie times 1,000 in practice. 8 false starts to open the game. Yeah, that's not good. And then he says, Weeks has been unleashed. Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter, and forgive me for not knowing who this was. But they called him the Honky Badger. Whit Weeks, the Honky Badger. You got to love it. But, man, he continues to go off. He is a tackling machine. He continues to go off. But let's get to the game. Everybody do us a favor, too. Want to get your chats in, send in the super chats. I appreciate Trey for doing that. We'll take calls in about 35, 40 minutes or so. You can wait in to call in there, too. We greatly appreciate it. Just do us one favor. No matter what you do me this favor before we get rolling. Hit that like button, hit the share. Share to all those groups on Facebook. Share to all those social media pages. You're watching us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, do us a favor by rating, reviewing, and subscribing. We greatly appreciate y'all doing that. Let's get to it. Guys, I thought the first half was an outright masterclass. Looking at the first half, of the 30 minutes, you had the ball for 19 minutes of it. You completely kept it away from Arkansas and methodically moved the ball down the field. You know, we talked about on Thursday, one thing that you had to do was start off fast. And boy, did they. I love the opening drive call by Joe Sloan. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was 1,000% perfect. Now, there were some things I think that could have been cleaned up, but the first drive of the game for LSU football was absolutely, positively amazing. Durham in the flat for 7 on a swing pass. Durham run right up the middle for 4. And then this is where, right after that, you get a first down on 2 plays from Caden Durham. You methodically move the ball down the field. The worst enemy, and I'm talking about the worst enemy tonight for Arkansas, was the hitch route. 100% was the hitch route. In the first drive, Lacey hitch goes for 9. Durham counter run for 5. Lacey hitch goes for 12. Pass interference in the back of the end zone on C.J. Daniels. Penalty was accepted by LSU. C.J. Daniels hitch. So you have of the last 3 passing attempts outside of the first one, 3 of the first 4 passing attempts, it's literally Garrett Nussmeier and Joe Sloan taking what the defense gives them. Hey, man, if everybody wants to play off coverage, screw it. We're going to get our big body wide receivers. We're going to get them the ball. And we're going to methodically, thank you for giving us 8, 9 yards every time. We'll break a tackle and get 12 of them. But the opening drive, hey, if you're going to play off coverage, we're going to take it and we're going to get down the field. Nuss misses Green in the back of the end zone, but you had a roughing call. Taylor on a touchdown, but you had offensive pass interference. So you get down to the red zone, and man, I thought that this game was going to be a lot like this. But in the first drive of the game, you get down in the end zone, and you start having penalties. You have the OPI on Taylor's touchdown, saying that they were blocking even though the pass was behind the line of scrimmage. Lacey has a false start. So you have a 2nd and 20 plus, and it's 2nd and goal. Caden Durham, 27-yard run. So 2nd and 27. 27-yard run into the end zone touchdown. Guys, that's also something we talked about all week. Sometimes when you only get a yard rushing, it doesn't matter. You got to keep coming back to it. Caden Durham seemed tonight, unlike last week, to be 100% healthy, and he 1,000% made his presence known, especially to start off the drive. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on the night. Defensively, man, I got to be real with you. I thought you played phenomenal, and it started with the first drive. Arkansas got a couple of runs. I thought Bobby Petrino had a great opening, an outright great opening drive. But when the going got tough, your defense in the first half stood up. They had a couple of runs. So they passed the 50-yard line. They get a couple of runs. And I thought the big play was Sage Ryan, who had multiple big plays tonight. One, he had the PBU on the fingernail that tips the ball away that would have been a touchdown. And then later in the game, he had a massive hit that they overturned the rule of targeting, and it generated a stop for LSU. But he gets a big PBU that would lead to Arkansas having to kick a field goal. Guys, the second possession is where you absolutely dominated. Now, you only would get a field goal out of it, but it's where you absolutely dominated because you played keep away. Nuss had his pass tipped on an RPO, false start by 79. So that's where it started all night. Even in the second drive, okay, you started messing up. But Garrett cleaned up a lot of inefficiencies tonight by making smart plays and getting right yardage. But the second drive is where you got it. So you have a false start. You had a tip pass. Williams has a rush for 8 yards, 3rd and 7, an out route to Aaron Anderson for 28. Now, let me stop right there. Aaron Anderson was massive tonight. It's not going to go down on the stat sheet. It's not going to go down as that he did anything special. But, guys, on the second drive from scrimmage, Aaron Anderson had 2 catches for 30-plus yards. And in that, both of them came on 3rd downs. So you had a 3rd and 7 where an out route for Anderson goes for 28. You methodically moved the ball down the field all night long, like your Cisco. Post was missed, but Durham run for 8. Lacey drag route 7 yards. Daniels hitch 9 yards. Garrett gets pressured, throw it away. 3rd and 1. you had a borderline false start, 3rd and 6, out route. Guess who? Aaron Anderson for 12 yards. Caden Durham, RPO run for 2 yards. He misses Aaron Anderson in the back of the end zone. Nuss has to call a timeout, and then he misses Aaron in the back of the end zone again. It was no good. You set up for a field goal. Guys, if they're going to give you yardage, if teams are just going to play off and give you yardage, you got to take it. Play who you are. Be who you are. And I thought the game plan in the first 2 drives from Nuss was absolutely, positively, 1,000% fantastic. Joe Sloan had a great game plan to start off the game, and Garrett Nussmeier executed that plan flawlessly. Guys, I don't give 2 Rudy Poos that he had 0 touchdowns, but he had 0 turnovers. Now, there were a lot of passes that he had tonight that should have been picked. I'm not going to come in here and get on him because they weren't, but he still did have a lot of plays that should have been picked. But he played efficiently inside the offense and did exactly what he needed to do to dominate. And that is what you got to do. Guys, it was the most we talked about on Thursday. I want Nuss to do things and play like he did against Wisconsin. Take the easy shit. If they're going to give it to you, take it. Guys, when you do what you did tonight, you're going to now force teams to play bump and run with you, which is exactly what you want to do with guys like Kyron and guys like CJ Daniels. By the way, gonna throw this out there. I don't know the status of Chris Hilton, but I would assume that they feel like that they're going – well, I'm going to say it like this. I know for a fact that they're going to do everything possible to get Chris Hilton back next week, because what's about to happen is A&M's going to walk guys up and they're going to say, hey, man, beat us. And they're going to throw out Chris Hilton, and let's see if we can take the deep shot for a score. Beautiful opening drives. 10 points on 2 drives, guys, I'll take it. You're up 10-0. And I thought that that's what set the tone. 1,000% set the tone. Second possession by the defense. They have a run right up the middle. You get gas for 10 yards, and Greg Penn comes from behind and gets a forced fumble on a strip, and LSU would get the football. Guys, the truth be told, if you would have cleaned up some of the false starts, if you would have cleaned up some of the penalties in the first half, guys, that's your first half. You should have been up easily 21-0. Easily up 21-0. But Greg Penn, this linebacking core under Blake Baker, man, we're going to talk about Whit Weeks tonight. He played fantastic. Guys, Greg Penn played a really good game too. Very, very good game. So, second possession defensively, you give up a field goal and you get a fumble. And you can constantly force the pressure on Taylor Green. Third possession offensively was pure asshole. So I talked glowingly about them, but the third possession was dookie water. You had a false start. CJ Daniels, 12-yard hitch route. Caden Durham, first down on a 5-yard run. False start by 79. Completely killed that play. Kyron Lacey on a fade route, double covered, almost got picked, PBU by Arkansas. Durham run 2 yards, 3rd and 13. Nuss throws the ball into double coverage, almost picked. Field goal is good. You're up 13-0. Guys, you got away with one there. You got away with one. And as efficient as I thought the first 2 drives were, they were inefficient in the third drive. So what happened? You came out, they literally were backing off of you in coverage. They came up in the beginning, then they started backing off when you started taking shots. Were there things open? Yes. Should he have continued to check the ball down and give guys the ball like Mason Taylor? Yes. Which guys, it's going to be a whole topic of conversation next week. I can already feel it. Mason Taylor has got to be a part of this game plan. Has to be a part of this game plan. Like him, love him, or hate him, you got to get him the football. But the third drive was bad. You're up 13-0. Third possession defensively, you just got pieced apart. And, guys, I'm just going to tell you this, okay? I know that the third possession defensively, that it looked bad, and it was bad. But, man, to be real with you, I chalked that up to you have Blake Baker versus Bobby P, and Bobby P got one on him. That's it. I mean, like, you were there to make plays, right? Like 100% there to make plays. Out route, Weeks, tackle, Jackson, run, 4 yards, tackle, Armstrong, drag route, tackle by Greg Penn, Brom on a toss, Greg Penn, tackle. Then you're getting after Taylon Green. You made Taylon Green scramble, okay, on back-to-back plays on the third possession defensively, and he was a better athlete than the guy that you had on him at that current moment. And he made plays. They're just methodically moving the ball down the field on you, man, to be real with you. That's all that is. And it stinks. They got 2 pass plays for 20 yards. Green scrambled and hit Broden, and then he scrambled and hit Satanga, and Weeks was there for both of them. And then Armstrong on a corner route on Ashton Stamps in cover 2, which was the perfect play call, touchdown. I just tee it up as, to be real with you, that Bobby P's a really good offensive play caller, and they got one on you. I don't know how else to say it, because from that point on, you dominated defensively. Now, let's talk about this for just a moment. Blake Baker, actually, let me write this down because I know I'm going to clip this. Hold on. We're going to have this clipped. Think about the 3 high-profile games that Blake Baker has had this year for LSU defensively. USC against a really good offensive mind. Ole Miss last week against a really good offensive mind and Lane Kiffin. And then this week against Bobby Petrino with yet another top 10 offense and total offense, which Arkansas was 8th coming into this week. Blake Baker has shined. No team offensively has scored over 30 points. You've kept everyone in or around the 25, 26, 27 mark. And tonight you held Arkansas to 10 points. Guys, he's worth the $2.5 million that you paid for him. Now, I'm going to ask you in the comments or wherever you're watching this clip, if you think Blake Baker's worth it now and that coaching matters now, give me a thumbs up. Guys, what they're doing defensively is phenomenal. By the way, just throwing this out there, Tennessee might be a really good football team. They just knocked off Bama tonight or today. And both teams, you went into that game and knocked off a really good Arkansas team. Don't let anybody tell you differently. There are a lot of people nationally that cover this sport that I respect with the utmost. A lot of people thought Arkansas was going to keep this one close today. I'm one of them. And I will admit where I'm wrong. I thought that this was going to be a close football game. But outside of that possession, guys, defensively, you dominated. You look good. And does some of that got to do with Whit Weeks? Yeah, sure, it does. But the whole defense, my goodness, is playing so much better. So, yeah, fourth possession offensively, look, long drive. You hit Trey Green on a slant. Lacey dropped a hitch route. Jackson runs for 5 yards. Jackson, who, welcome to the show, Caleb Jackson. Welcome to the show. Caleb Jackson, run out of the pistol for 12 yards. Josh Williams for 4. Nuss misses Green on a fade route. 3rd and 6, Arkansas offsides. This pisses me off more than anything. Guys, you have Arkansas on the 3rd and 1. They jump off sides. It's the one that Nuss had to do the Circus Soleil on and spin out of it. So 3rd and 1. By the way, almost threw a pick on the pass he threw on the offsides. Doesn't matter. 3rd and 1. Then you have a false start by Bordelon. and a false start by Will Campbell. So 3rd and 6. Mason Taylor, out route for 14 on the 3rd and 6. Guys, I'm telling you, we got to find 86 more touches. I don't know how we do it. I don't know when we do it, but 86 has got to get more touches. Thomas goes on a reverse for 5 yards. Anderson gets a false start. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Drives you nuts. Lacey on a hitch route for 4 yards. 3rd and 5. Nuts has to throw the football away. Field goal is good. 4th possession defensively. So you're up 16 to, was it 3 there? Yeah, 16 to 10 there. 16 to 10, excuse me. 4th possession defensively. Hitch route is complete for 9. Armstrong, drag route, 8 yards. Savion Jones gets a PBU. He's unblocked. Savion had a big play, man, that really killed the drive for Arkansas. He knew that he wasn't going to get to Taylon Green. He bats the ball in the air. Really good play, man. These edge guys are playing much, much better than they did a year ago. Armstrong goes on a drag route for 14, then a catch for 7 on 3rd and 6. And then you have a crucial play. So 1st down, 1st and 10. Sage Ryan, you're being on a post route. This is what I thought ultimately closed the door on Arkansas offensively when you set the tone. 1st and 10, post route. Sage Ryan, PBU. He was called for targeting, then it's reversed. I thought it was a good call. He hit him square in the chest, dislodged the football. Hell yes, Sage Ryan. So in the beginning part of the game, when you almost gave up a touchdown, he gets a PBU. By the way, I don't know what to make of this, and I'm sure hopefully Brian Kelly has asked this in his postgame. Sage Ryan had the green dot tonight, meaning that Sage Ryan was the guy calling plays. And it's interesting because I really wonder, okay, if that helped him and Blake Baker utilizing him on what he needed to do. It's a big deal, man. You have your safety calling plays for your defense. Blake Baker being in the ear of Sage Ryan, I think, is a very, very big deal. Very, very big deal. So look, he has the PBU and he breaks it up. Major Burns with a PBU. Holy shit. Arkansas fans wanted a PI, but the receiver and Major Burns are hand fighting. He gets his hand turned and he knocks the ball away. Holy shit. Man, it really feels like this defense is starting to come together, man. All right. 3rd and 10, Green's got a scramble, incomplete, then they punt. And then basically you kneeled it down to start the half. You had the ball for 19 minutes and 12 seconds in the first half. You dominated. Guys, quite honestly, this beats everything that I've seen. That a defense that was that bad a year ago turns right around and dominates the way that they do. It's a flawless first half. 10 points, I'll take it. I'll 100% take it because here's the thing. Man, in back-to-back weeks, think about this. In back-to-back weeks, LSU in the second half, whatever they're doing with their adjustments, they gave up 6 points to Ole Miss a week ago in the second half. They give up 0 points in the second half. None. So whatever Blake Baker's been doing in these high-profile games, in these high-profile situations, in the halftime adjustments, man, it's 1,000% working. Again, guys, you didn't give up a point. Or, excuse me, you gave up 3 points in the second half. Excuse me. 3 points, a field goal. So let me back up. Whatever Blake Baker has done the last 2 weeks in the second half has worked. You've given up 9 total points, all field goals. It's insane, man. It's insane. You went into half up 16-7, and you came back defensively and shut them down. Let's run through some of the second half. I think you physically dominated. Arkansas would basically come down on a drive And on 2 third downs, Green would scramble. Weeks almost had an INT, but they had a couple of hitch routes. They ran an in route for 14 on 3rd and 10. Haas, their tight end, had 2 out routes on the drive coming out of half that went for 11. Run for no gain. Armstrong hitch route for 5 yards and a crucial 3rd and 5. This is where Bo Davis now comes in, and Kevin Peoples now comes in and said, hey, man, I'm a really good coach. 3rd and 5. JVR Suggs with a sack on Taylor Green that was forced from him going up in the pocket because Braden Swinson is forcing him up in the pocket, and JVR Suggs gets a sack. Big time. 3rd down, your D-line getting pressure with 4 dudes. Guys, you sent 4, and a big DT is getting a sack. Immaculate. Makes you want to moan. Makes you want to moan. It's so good. Okay, massive pause. But you had forced a field goal. So the first possession in the second half was the only points that you let up. Offensively, you would come out and you would have to punt. You shot yourselves in the foot most of the drive. There was one thing that I love from Joe Sloan tonight. Guys, I am a massive fan of drag routes. Massive fan. Kyron Lacey ran 2. One of them got 7, the other got 8. I love drag routes, especially with big-bodied wide receivers like Kyron Lacey. Get the 8 yards. 2nd and 2. Most of the times, he's going to break one and get 10 yards. But he did it twice. Daniels fade route or a broken play, which what I probably should have written. Right after the drag route by Kyron Lacey, the first drag route, Daniels on a broken play, 29 yards. You went back to him on a fade, almost caught it off of his helmet. Durham, 1-yard run. Taylor goes for 19 on 3rd and 9, another broken play. It was called back because of Emory Jones on a holding. 3rd and 9, Lacey, hitch route, 13, but they called you for an OPI. Guys, come on. Now, do I think I have not once this season come out here and complained at all about refs or calls or anything like that. However, I do think that they were pretty shitty tonight, to be real with you. I thought that they were very shitty. So they were a little tit for tat. They tried to keep the game close, but you had a punt. Complete dog shit. Wouldn't matter, though. Let me say this, because I made this a point this week, and I want to hit on it. Remember on Thursday, we talked about the legend Nick Saban had one massive quote that every good drive ends in a kick. Punt, field goal, extra point. Because you had to punt the football away. You pinned them down in their own territory. Play field position. Play good defense. Your defense has been good all night. They've been making stops for you. That's what happens when you have a good defense. You don't have to force everything. And I think that's the part that I've been trying to make all year. Man, your defense is good enough to get you stops. You can punt it, play field position, and get you a stop. By the way, they did. Second defensive possession of the second half, Whitweeks bats a ball in the air and an interception. Let's stop here. First off, did y'all see the guy on Twitter calling the honky badger? The honky badger. That is amazing. That is 100% amazing. Guys, that dude, after Harold Perkins being out, has been a baller. He's going to face a really good guard combo next week, and I think he's going to shine again. My goodness gracious, great balls of fire. It was a Tyrann Mathieu looking play. Remember when Tyrann batted the ball in the air? Was it Oregon and then Kentucky? Tell me that didn't look a little bit like Tyrann. I wish he would have scored, but guys, you get a turnover and a massive one. Guys, this was the first time that you have gotten a touchdown off of a turnover this year. When you get 7 points off of turnovers, this is what it looks like. But man, Whit Weeks is otherworldly. I don't know what to really say about him, because I look at him. He had a sack tonight. There was a time where later in the game that Taylon Green, he was a spy on Taylon Green, and he came down with a sack, made a fantastic play. He makes the pick that ultimately gets you a touchdown. Okay? But it was phenomenal. Absolutely 100% positively phenomenal. Now, I look at him and I look at his stats. Guys, he had 9 tackles tonight. He had a sack, a forced fumble, a batted down pass, and a pick. Oh, by the way, his counterpart, his teammate right next to him, Greg Penn, 6 tackles. Major Burns, 6 tackles. Sage Ryan, 5 tackles. You played phenomenal tonight, man, in your core. Right up the middle, you played really good. I know, here's another thing. I want to throw this guy out there because I think that this has really helped him. The play of Gio Paez is going unrecognized. It's going unrecognized. The play of Don McKinley is going unrecognized. And for what it's worth, to call it like I see it, the Whit Weeks play is a cherry on top of what the hard work that you have put into that unit. Now, it's an immaculate play. Look, great players make great plays in great situations. So a phenomenal situation there. The very next, so you would get the ball inside your own 5. Caden Durham, who had 101 rushing yards tonight and 3 touchdowns, would get the touchdown. Then you went to Trades Green on a 2-point conversion. Beautiful call by Joe Sloan. 7th possession defensively. 3rd and 10. Whit Weeks, sack on a spy on Taylon Green. They would punt the football away. Beautiful. Guys, you're really well coached. You're getting better every week, and you're really well coached. That's how I put it. That's 100% how I put it. And from that point on, from throughout the night, guys, you would dominate. You get a field goal after that, and let's see. And then the last possession offensively of the game that you had with the starters, hitch route, pistol, run, Jackson, run, Taylor in the flat, run, hitch, run, hitch, run, touchdown. You whip their ass, man. You whip their ass. If teams are going to give you that much yardage, you got to take it. Methodically fantastic throughout the game. All right, let's get to a couple of super chats. We'll get to those, and then we'll get to some phone calls here in just a moment. I do see that Texas is up 15. Georgia's up 15 to Texas. I didn't do Week 8 picks on this show accidentally on Thursday. We had too much to get to. I did do it on Ruffino and Joe show. Let me give you those numbers. Coming into today, I was 51-19, and it's looking like we're going to be having 8-2 week. 8-2 week this week. So I do see that Georgia is winning, and now they're punting to Texas. So we'll keep our eyes monitored on that one. But it's an SEC team race. Told you Texas was fugazi. Maybe next time somebody will listen to me. All right, let's get to a couple of super chats here. Christian Wheeler with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. If you want your comments read, send in a super chat. Christian Wheeler's our good friend. Fantastic cook from what I hear and see. So Christian Wheeler with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for sending that in. Jay Mines says the best part about our team we have a lot of babies playing freshmen. I love our future. And not only that, man, you're developing every single week, right? Like every single week you're coming out here and getting better. I mean, guys, let's be real with this. The emergence the last 3 weeks of Jordan Gilbert, Sage Ryan, and Major Burns has been fantastic. Let's call it what it is. Oh, and Whit Weeks. Why am I missing on? Why would I miss Whit Weeks? So to Jay Mines' point, he's not wrong. And you're playing a lot of freshmen. Devon Keys got into the game this week, right? Actually had a half a sack. Then you had the kid from John Curtis who had the pick, almost had the pick. You're playing a lot of Woodland. Stamps will be back next. Guys, think about this. Stamps. I'm pretty sure Gilbert can come back. Stamps, Gilbert, Weeks. Womack played a lot tonight. So, yeah. Future is really bright, and you're bringing in another really good defensive class. Here's another thing. Do you get Jakeem Stewart? Shit. All right. Y'all can go ahead and mess around with BK if y'all want to. Todd Davis says, why wasn't the ball put at the 2 when there's a PI against Daniels in the end zone? You know, Todd, and thank you for the $5 super chat. That's a really good question. I don't know. But it certainly was PI in the end zone, and they called it in the end zone. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's in the NFL. Maybe it's a 15-yard penalty. Very good chance that I'm wrong there. But they gave him the 15 yards. But I know in the NFL they give him to the 2. But I'm pretty sure it's just 15 yards for that situation. Jordan Acosta, what's up, man? With a $2 super chat says, Witt turning into what we all hoped that Perk would be. Fair. I mean, guys, you're playing better without Perk in the run game. For sure. Without a doubt. You're not trying to figure a square peg into a round hole, and you're playing better defense because of it. And listen, I think that it's easy for us to say that you're playing better without Perkins. Let me say this. Lazy people that never play will say that. But you can't ignore what they're doing in the running game. Guys, Perk is still a very freak athlete. Very much. Very much. But you're playing a lot better. Playing much, much better. Hale Mendoza says, smoking on that wild hog pack tonight, baby. Great win. Also, thoughts on Georgia-Texas PI call getting called back because the fans were going to riot. I haven't been able to keep too many eyes on it. I've kind of been score glazing. I saw when Georgia opened the can of whoop ass in the first half, but I'm just going to tell you, I had an inkling that Georgia was going to come in there and run the football on them. Talked about it on the Rufino and Joe show this week. So in reference to that game, Hale Mendoza, look, Texas has not been tested. Now, they got 8 minutes left to go in the game. Let's see what they do here. I mean, the game's not over yet. Corey Hunt says, Blake looking like he wants the business. Pause. I got to come out here looking a little bit better, man. You know what I mean? Your boy's down like 70 pounds, actually 72. So your boy's down 72. I'm starting to feel good about myself, a little bit more confident. So I'm sorry if I'm sorry about that, but I do. Man, it's a lot of weight to lose, man. I got a little too big there, and I apologize for everybody having to, for everybody for that. I see some other super chats. I saw this one. Blake, give me your thoughts on our playoff hopes, bro. I told you, I mean, guys, there is literally a clip video on our YouTube channel if you subscribe. I told you what I thought 2 weeks ago. Foreshadowing that you could do it. And here you are. Guys, now you have A&M and at Kyle Field. Going to be a very tough environment. Very tough team to play against. Guys, if you win that football game, bro, I'm just telling you. Because then you have a bye, then you go to Alabama, and Bama's beatable. And I love Brian Kelly coming off a bye week. And I love Brian Kelly being at home at night, potentially that game being at night. So, I mean, guys, if you go 1-1 at worst, it's not going to kill you. But, man, your playoff hopes, based off of what you have in the next 3 weeks, are starting to look very favorable for you. Right? With that being said, you can't get caught looking ahead. You cannot get caught looking ahead, because if you do, that's when you start getting beat. Cole says Weeks shotgun celebration on the INT. I didn't really get to see it. He did a shotgun impression. I don't like these kids in these gun impressions, man. I don't. I really, really don't. Find something new. You know what I mean? Find something new. But that's probably the most country thing that you can do. So, yeah, thank you for the call for the $2 super chat. Dr. John Sibley Butler says, Blake, LSU offense is pure pro offense. Do you believe that this is taking teams by surprise because they don't see that offense a lot in college? Well, they certainly were tonight. They weren't necessarily, Dr. Butler, in my opinion, last week, because but I get what you're saying, and I agree. Keep doing what you're doing. Guys, I don't care what I thought tonight was one of the best nights that Nuss had. Without a doubt. Flawless. Guys, I'm not overly wooed by stats at all. What I'm wooed by is, hey, are you going to give me 9 yards? Well, watch this. Hitch route, bitch. Here goes 9 yards. Hitch route, 8 yards. Oh, you want to give me Trey Green on a 2-point conversion for 9 yards or for 3 yards, and he's 6'7", 6'8"? Screw you. 2-point conversion, good. Trey Dez had a slant route on 3rd down tonight that went for 7. Guys, it is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Give that kid easy throws, man. You got big body wide receivers. What the frick are we doing running downfield trying to hit big shots? What the frick are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? So stupid. I don't get it. I legitimately don't get it. So dumb. All right. Thank you, Dr. Butler, for the super chat. Let's see. Race says on YouTube, Blake, what do you think we're ranked on Monday? I'd have to go down and look, man, I have to write shit down. You're at 8 tonight. I mean, you'll be above Bama. So at worst, maybe 7. You know, where does Texas move? Where does Tennessee move? I mean, that's a good question. Bama's out, so somebody's going up, but then are you going down based off of Texas if they lose by 15 to Georgia? You know? And here's another thing, man. Dude, this week is arguably, or let me back up. This season is the most 2007 feel that I've had in a long time. Guys, I mean, we're currently watching the game right now, so if we ever clip this, I don't know if Georgia beats Texas. It looks like that they're going to beat Texas. But number 1 teams are flying off like girls' underwears in college when they see Big Daddy, your boy, walking into the bar. I'm just telling you. That's how it would happen. But teams are falling left and right. Quinn Ewers, I mean, Dude's had a bad night, and this Georgia defense has stood up. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But what I tell you, guys, you're in firm position to make a playoff. Do you finish and do you execute? Oklahoma looks like ass cheeks. Florida, I don't know their situation right now. I mean, I'm just literally sitting here watching Georgia, Texas. That's what's on in the studio. I don't know what happened with Florida and Kentucky. But, I mean, DJ Lagway, you go on the road. I mean, so many things that can happen. You just got to worry about beating A&M. Beat A&M, get to a bye week, Bama at home. Guys, Brian Kelly, I mean, you're coming together as a team, dude. This is what becoming a team looks like. It's what becoming a team looks like. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to some. Yeah, we can put it in there. Yep. All right, let's get to some phone calls. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the number to call in. What did you think of the game? And we'll get to it. Call us 225-435-9387. Dr. Butler, I'll get your comment. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Stephen Young again.
What's up, Stephen? What did you think of the game?
I loved it. And there's something that you haven't been talking about.
All right, what is it?
The fact that this game wasn't the knockdown, drag-out fight that it usually is.
That you opened up a can of whoop ass.
Bodes really well for us against Ole Miss. Oh, I'm sorry, Texas A&M.
Why do you say that?
Well, because typically this game would be a draining, possibly injury-ridden game.
Fair.
And it wasn't. It was a can of whoop ass. That gives you a lot more momentum, even though A&M's a hard place to play. I mean, we couldn't afford to have that kind of game tonight and expect to win at Texas A&M.
Yeah, you can. And look, to their credit, I thought they stayed with the run. I thought Caleb Jackson had a good night. He had 5 carries, 30 yards, 6 yards a carry. Durham, 21 carries, 101 yards. Man, you physically dominated them in every area. You know, Stephen, too, to your point, talking about opening up a can of whoop ass, LSU had the ball for 38 minutes tonight, time of possession. They whipped that ass. And it could have been worse. To your point, if you don't have a lot of those false starts, if you don't have a lot of those stupid penalties, you completely have opened up a can of whoop ass.
Yeah, those threes would have been 7s.
No doubt. No, but I'm glad you just got points, and I'm glad. Seeing, here's another thing too. The only other thing, you threw in a double coverage a couple times, and you got away from your game plan to almost bit you in the ass too. I need to throw that in there.
Right, but my point in this game is, you didn't get beat up.
No, at all. Not at all.
And that would have been a really bad sign going into Texas A&M.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know, A&M got pretty beat up today. Chase Basantis.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Chase Basantis went out. Their right tackle went out for a couple of plays. So they had a slobber knocker with Mississippi State today, you know, ironically enough.
Yeah, now a second thing. If LSU doesn't have a number 40 on defense against Arkansas from here in perpetuity, it's a travesty, because 40 lives in Arkansas's nightmare.
Well, here's my question. Is 40 the new 7?
It's better. I mean, our 7s have not had a great track record in some cases.
They have not. Well, Stephen, I appreciate for the phone call, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's Stephen. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. You're on the phone with Blake. This is AYS. What did you think of the game?
Blake, this is Drew Rosenbaum from Meridian, Mississippi. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. What did you think of the game, Drew?
I thought that for the first time in a while, LSU looked about as dominating when they were being coached under Saban's staff. That was the first game I think that we on TV we've looked like a team that is ready for a championship caliber run. What do you think?
I don't know that yet because here, Drew, this is what I tell you. I'm still worried about you turning the football over, right? Like I'm still massively worried about you you making boneheaded decisions. You know, you threw the ball twice in a or twice in a double coverage. But if your defense is going to continue to get better every week the way that they have been, they can keep you in enough games to win you football games to get you into the playoff. Now, when you
Maybe
get
I
there,
should have worded that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
all I was going to say is to get there. I think you can get there. You have the schedule to get there.
The defense just keeps getting better and better. I mean, I can't even, when you look at the way the defense is playing now compared to what they were 365 days ago, I'd say you're lying. I mean, it's just no way.
You know, I will say this. I did not think, let me, to your point, I did not think that they'd be this good in certain situations. I did my bold take, the last week before the season started, my bold take on a Thursday was that they'd be in the top 50s. I did not expect them to look like this, though. I'll be honest.
All right, I know you got a lot of phone calls coming, but here's the deal: Whit Weeks, that single play not only saved tonight's game, in my opinion. I think the interception by Whit Weeks, but that was a potential season-saving play. What he did. I mean that was just that one play that took the air at Arkansas.
100%. And the sack did too. See, he got the pick, if you remember. So he got the pick, you scored off of it, and then a 3rd and 10 he spied, which arguably enough, we have a defensive coordinator that knows how to run a spy with a linebacker. He gets a sack and they punt the football away, and you go down and get a field goal. So again, he makes 2 plays and gets you 10 points off of it. That's critical.
Absolutely. Buddy, thanks for taking my call. See you next week.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Drew. All right, 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. Let us know what you think of the game. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame. What's your thoughts on the game?
Blake, this is Faisal. I spoke to you last week. I've been following you this whole week. First and foremost, I want to say, you had me on the ropes. You kept saying, I mean, I feel you. After Ole Miss win, I had the same feeling, emotional game on the road. It's a big game for them. I was also feeling a little skeptical, but boys came out and showed up today.
100%.
One thing I noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, unless I missed it, I watched the whole game. I didn't see Zy Alexander playing. Was he injured?
No, Zy Alexander played. They didn't throw at him.
One thing, a bit of a concern that I think going into A&M game is if you looked at it, Tyler Green, he's similar to Sellers. He doesn't have a big arm and all that. But down the field, like middle of the field was completely open. They were getting 10 yards. That was the only way they were getting the pass. And it was like literally just crossing routes all game. That to me, I don't know if Blake just didn't pick it up or we were just trying to blitz them, or is that something you noticed? You think that's the game plan?
Here's what I tell you about the defense. If you allow the top 10 offense in the country, like what Arkansas was coming in this game, and you only allow them to have 10 points, I'm not going to come out here and criticize shit that you do.
Yeah, absolutely fair enough. One other question I had for you, because I was going to ask you last week and I forgot about it. Kelly came out and said, Taviano is going to play. I haven't seen him playing. So are they missing something?
He didn't say that he was going to play. He said he moved his star. He never said he was going to play.
Star, yeah. I think, to be honest, I mean, sometimes Stamps is good, but sometimes he scares me.
He has no business being on the boundary.
You think so? He was good last year.
And he looked like dog poo-poo last year at boundary. He's a safety. That's why he got moved to safety.
Now, one hot take, you remember I told you this because I was thinking Perk was going to be a Heisman finalist, or at least that's what my thought was going into the year, the way you were talking, that he was making plays.
I never said that he was going to be a Heisman contender.
No. I said Iowa. I had
Okay.
him as a Heisman finalist. That's what I
Okay,
said.
well,
My question is, since he's been injured, does it seem like the defense have opened up? Meaning, we're not. I feel like our defense was too reliant. That Perk's there, he's gonna make the play, and now it seems like the guys are on their assignment, as you stated before, right? They
Yeah.
play their part of it. So I felt like we were too reliant on Perk, and that's I think what was hurting our defense more than anything else. Would you say that's fair? Do you think that's
no, I wouldn't say
No.
it's fair, but I think it's an easy comp because he's out and we're going to blame him. But everybody's playing better around him. Thanks for the phone call, man. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the
True, yeah,
AYS
Perk's
postgame
gonna
show.
make
What
the
did you think of the
play.
game?
And now it's
Hey, turn the show down in the background. Turn the show down.
I got you. You got me?
Yep. What'd you think of the game?
I thought Whitweeks, Greg Penn, Sage Ryan, and Major Burns have been so impactful for this LSU defense. And
I
I think the LSU defense in the past 2 weekends has been the best defense in the SEC. Do you agree with me, Blake?
I'm trying to think of other defenses in the SEC just to make sure I don't arguably, probably considering who you face, yeah. I could see that.
I think if you go into
Go ahead.
I think if you go into Kyle Field next weekend and you hold them to Texas A&M under the 20, you win that game easily. I think if Major Burns and Sage Ryan keep on playing the way they're playing, I think we beat Texas A&M easily. And then even if Alabama somehow gets us at home, I think we're in the playoffs at 10-2.
I'm going to be honest with you. Brian Kelly's 13-0 in night games in Tiger Stadium.
100%.
So I think A&M's a little bit more physical than what we're giving him credit for. I think that one's a real slobber knocker. That's a white person word, but I do think that I could see where the question you're asking. I can't think of any other defense that's been playing better. Georgia dominated tonight, but it depends on how you look at their Mississippi State game. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how you look at them being vanilla, but you've given up 36 points the last 2 weeks. You've looked good, man. Turnovers have been great. And listen, here's another thing too.
Yeah.
This is what it makes a defense look that much better when you're not turning the ball over either.
100%.
And you play time of possession. When you do what you did tonight, that's you opening up a can of whoop ass. I'm going to be real with you. You kind of got back to LSU football tonight.
Yep. Caden Durham running the ball down their throats. And even with the offense having, I think, 8 false starts, it doesn't matter. It's like,
well, it does.
In the second half, we just straight dominated. And
it does
DJ
matter.
Chester's got to get it figured out, but we still dominated in the second half. The offense dominated in the second half.
No doubt. Now it does matter because you could have beat them 49-0, right? You should have beat the dogs.
It should have been a lot bigger margin in the first half.
The second half too. The second half,
right?
You get a sack and then you have to kick a field goal because Nuss throws it was a bad snap. Nuss runs for a couple. Daniels hits 5 and then he overthrows CJ Daniels. So look, there comes a part where listen. Here's what I'd say, and we'll get to some more calls here. I thought tonight's game arguably was the best that Nussmeier had looked, in my humble opinion.
I agree 100%.
All right. Thank you for the phone call, buddy.
Yes, sir. Damian Ramos, 4 for 4.
Yeah, we don't talk about
yes, sir.
We don't talk about
Ramos. Yes, sir. Damian Ramos, 4 for 4.
All right. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do you have the pleasure of talking to?
Your boy Daryl, man. What up, Blake dog?
They took them panties and they threw them up on the ceiling tonight, big dog.
Listen. Can we coin the hunky badger dog? Can we coin that?
Look, I didn't come up with it, but Whitweeks is the hunky badger. Yes.
Whitweeks might be the best linebacker in the damn conference, dog. And he makes the defense look immaculate. Bro, we look like He looked like 40 was getting live in that thing.
He kind of looked like what do they say on Remember the Titans? The light-skinned brother from Devin White. He's a light-skinned brother of Devin White. That's what I heard.
Listen, Blake, is this defense becoming a little bit dominant, dog? Are we seeing the beginnings of a little domination?
I mean, look, could you say that? Yes, but my fear is that you go into A&M and then they run all over you, and then you know. But I mean, look, man, you clapping some cheeks the last 2 weeks defensively. That's just being. I mean, think about this. Remember the Weeks big hit on Jack?
Yeah.
That dude's 245 pounds. Weeks is 225 soaking wet. That takes a dog. Like, bro, dudes are playing like dogs. I thought tonight made me feel like, oh shit, that's what LSU's supposed to look like.
No, it looked like vintage. I mean, Sage back there looking like Chad Jones laying down the wood.
I mean, look, man, Sage Wood.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, and then he had the fingertip PBU. Yep. You know, I do wonder if that one that he broke up with his fingertip. I think a better quarterback throwing the football gets it there, but it doesn't matter, right? Like that part doesn't matter. Look, you've been really good. You've been very good. I think that Weeks, for what it's worth, is getting the credit he deserves, and he should. I think Greg Penn's been good too, man. I think Greg's been really good.
Oh, but he's benefiting from Weeks.
Oh, no doubt.
I remember all last year you was crying about why Weeks ain't on the field, and for good reason, bro. Like, he is a game changer. I think he makes everybody else look better. Now,
no doubt.
Paez has been balling. That front four has been balling.
Well, think about this. To rudely interrupt you, Matt House did not play Whit Weeks or Braden Swinson.
Why? Come on, dog. Come on. You see that? That man is a fucking star. You, my friend. He's a star, dog. You see it. We see he's the hunky badger. All right, Blake, don't talk. Get some more calls, dog. He's the hunky badger, dog.
I want a T-shirt made that says the honky badger.
On God, baby. Be good, baby.
All right. Look, man. Somebody can make a lot of money and give it to Weeks, but do a shirt with the honky badger. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, this is Rick up in Huntsville, Alabama.
What'd you think of the game, man?
Man, I loved it. Alabama loss was always a good week. I really think C.J. Daniels being back opened up some intermediate throws.
No doubt.
And then I'm really excited once we get Hilton back, because at that point, you can't really double Lacey. You got C.J. Daniels and Thomas in the intermediate, but we got to get Mason Taylor the ball. But that offense could really open up, and it's like, where do you double, where do you blitz to where we can't hit a soft spot and take it the distance?
Yeah, look, I thought tonight was Joe Sloan's best called game, without a doubt. And listen, if you're going to play off coverage and you're too worried about us throwing the ball down the field, which they were tonight. I mean, Arkansas was terrified of Garrett Nussmeier throwing the ball down the field. If you're going to play that far off coverage, do what you did all night long. I mean, the hitch route was the best weapon that you had all night.
Yes. And another thing, I don't know if it was the communication with the coach, but Sage Ryan appears to be like he was playing faster. He wasn't thinking as much. He was just reacting to it.
You bring that up. I mean, he did have the green dot tonight, the comm and the helmets. So Blake Baker gets to talk to him, and I wonder if, before the play clock goes out, if he's not saying, hey, Sage, you need to do this, 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 and this. I mean, that big hit, man, they didn't want none of that shit after Sage Ryan laid the lumber on that one. They wanted none of it.
Nothing at all. Another good thing was to see Caleb Jackson get a couple of runs. Hopefully we can build that confidence and we can get back to that 2-3 back system where we're just rotating bodies and just punishing you the entire time.
No doubt. And look, it's not going to show up. It's not a fantastic running performance completely. However, Garrett Nussmeier did not get sacked again tonight. You ran the ball with 2 backs for over 5 yards a carry, and you had 26 carries for over 130 yards between Caleb Jackson and Caden Durham. I'll take that shit all night long. Listen, there comes a part where I talked about this week. Just because you get 1 yard in the running game doesn't mean you stop, right? You got to line up and bust somebody in their shit. And when you bust somebody in their shit, you're going to find out if they want it or not. I hate to say it like that, but that's just the truth. Nuss's efficiency tonight, too, helped that out with him connecting on all those hitch routes. They didn't want none of you, dog. They didn't want to play with you. They didn't want to play against you. So you busted them up.
Another thing I liked about Nuss, I think him taking that run, he realized, hey, you can extend some of these plays.
No doubt.
You might can't be 5, but you can extend some of these. And I noticed him laughing at the coach when he pulled one and he actually ran it. But him just being able to extend that play with the weapons that we have out there, no pun intended, with it being close to Halloween, shit could get really spooky.
Shit can get spooky. Listen, here's the truth. If you methodically move the football down the field, your defense is good enough to win you football games. There, I said it.
Yep.
So I appreciate the phone call, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, 225-435-9387. Georgia has gone into Austin and beaten the Texas Longhorns. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. What did you think of the game?
Hey, Blake, it's Dakota.
What did you think of the game, Dakota?
First off, I want to say the defense played very well tonight. I think that Coach Baker called up a pretty good game. I thought Joe Sloan on the offense coached a really good game also. And also, this is kind of shocking, but I think it's pretty good to see that Nuss didn't throw a single turnover tonight.
Could have had a couple, but he didn't.
And I thought this defense, especially Weeks, that dude's a dog, man. I think he might be the next Devin White, like you just said. He is a dog.
Well, he certainly plays differently, but he definitely, with the number, he looks very good at linebacker right now. He looks very, very good at what he's doing.
That and I thought Aaron Anderson had a pretty good game tonight.
100%.
He made some, and I think C.J. Daniels, if he would have came down with that one-handed catch, that might, in my honest opinion, that could have been probably the best catch of the year if he would have came down with the one-hand catch.
Probably would have been. It him being back. We forget how good he is.
Right, and like again, I still think we got to keep working better in the end zone but we did get points when it mattered. When the defense gave us the ball back, we managed to get points when it mattered.
No doubt. No doubt. I appreciate the call, Dakota. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Blake.
All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. What did you think of the game?
What's up, Blake? It's Andrew. Man, is that defense cooking?
Oh, like your grandma and a muumuu.
Right.
I mean, my grandma wore a muumuu. I know how she cooked. If that's how we cook, I mean, look, the reason I say grandma muumuu is because it's old school. Tonight, you hit some people tonight, bro. You hit people tonight.
Hell yeah.
What'd you think of the game?
And well, I say this: even though Nussmeier didn't really throw for no touchdowns, I'm glad he kept the ball kind of safe.
Me too. Look, the stats are not like we looked at the stats last week and some of the things he did, and I get it. Tonight, he was very efficient. Man, look, if they're going to give you 7 yards a pop, take that shit, right? Like, take it. Throw the right. Kyron Lacey and C.J. Daniels are both around 210 pounds. They are more physical than any DB at the boundary across the conference. You got to get them the football and let those flags throw when they call PI on it. Taking fade route shots to Kyron Lacey is so stupid unless he's in one-on-one, bump and run, man-to-man coverage where we can out-physical somebody. Get them the
Yeah.
football in space. And I think they can even get better. Now you found a little bit of a running game. So, man, very, very proficient tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, man. CJ Daniels coming back was A1 for us, and it didn't seem like it, but that running game, I really think that running game is what won the game for us besides the defense.
No doubt. I mean, look, man, think about this. If I would have told you between Caleb Jackson and Caden Durham, you'd have 26 carries for 131 yards, so over 5 yards a carry, you'd call me crazy after what happened last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it, especially the way Caleb Jackson's been playing lately.
Right. And look, man, he had a 12-yard run. He had multiple 5-yard runs, pound. We got spoiled with Jaden. Let's call it what it is. We got spoiled because that man is a freak of nature. When you line up and you can run the ball 3, 4, 5 yards a carry, you're busting somebody's ass. That's just the truth.
Exactly. True.
Yep.
And one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Is it that LSU is good, or is Arkansas not as good as people really thought they were? Because I think Arkansas defense played all right. I mean, you know.
Look, I'll
it wasn't
say
horrible.
Arkansas lost to Oklahoma State, but they were beating them down the entire time. They lost to a really good A&M team that you're playing next week. And look, man, Tennessee doesn't look that bad, do they? I mean, Tennessee's in a lot
not at all.
that you're in, and Tennessee goes into Arkansas and gets beat. So I think that there's something to be said that Arkansas was a top 10 offense halfway through the season coming into this. What I think the truth is Brian Kelly said, "Oh, you want to play my style of football? Watch this shit." And I'll tell you this too. Now that we're kind of the late end of the show, I heard Brian Kelly was in O-line meetings all week. So how does that shit change? You know, it was the most Notre Dame type of game that you could feel. But listen, that shit wins you football games, man.
Yes, it does.
So
it really does.
I appreciate the phone call, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. Go.
That's going to be probably about it for us. To wrap up the show, though, I would say this. There was a man who meant a lot to local high school football, a man that was at LSU for well over a decade and changed the landscape of a lot of things. Coach Charles Baglio, as I knew him as Bags, known him since I was like 3 years old, was one of the best human beings that you could ever meet in your entire life. In case you missed it today, Coach Charles Baglio passed away this weekend. My prayers go out to his family. My prayers go out to his children, his grandchildren, and everybody in the Baglio family. Coach Bags was one of the best of us. He touched more lives than anybody at LSU. And it is with a humble heart that all of us at AYS mourn the loss of an outright Titan. I saw Coach Bags at PJ's Coffee in Hammond about 6 months ago. No, about 4 months ago. And we chatted for about 30 minutes. He asked me 3 things. Number 1, how's your family? How's your faith? And he asked, and we talked about football, the 3 F's. He sat there and ate a blueberry scone or blueberry muffin, whatever it was, and we both drank some coffee and talked for about 30 minutes. Coach Bags was one of the most amazing human beings that you'll ever meet in your entire life. And my heart is out to his family. It's a sad, sad day, man. And I hate that we had to talk about this on a post-game show. But I hate about talking about this anytime. But to the Baglio family, I'm sorry for your loss. So we're going to wrap up tonight's show. We'll see y'all again on Monday, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.